gonna go with the first sentence in this thing.
All right.
Former Raiders coach John Gruden alleges in a lawsuit that the NFL and Commissioner Roger Goodell sought to destroy his career and reputation through a malicious and orchestrated campaign. I think I agree with that one because
and I'm interested to see what because obviously you don't bring a case like that on that level unless you have some corroborating evidence.
Yeah,
and so that means outside of he must have found out who exactly leaked the emails. Yes.
I told y'all you don't pay attention. But real talk, you don't know. He's got his people going to have to dig through to find out who did this, who did that. They're going to have to go to whatever reporter they gave it to and see if they can buy the information off them because a lot of reporters say, I don't get my sources up. But this is a man's life.
Yeah.
This is a man's reputation. This is a man's livelihood. That because he said some stuff off camera, off the record, you guys just threw it out there.
On an email, which
we're gonna trash this guy. We're gonna get rid of him.
And this is where it gets a little convoluted. Technically, an email between two people can be considered private conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Now, unfortunately, if it was a work email, then that is excluded from the private communication clause.
It was the work email.
So then it's excluded.
I don't think it was a work email.
No, they verified it was a work email. That's the only reason they were able to get all that information.
Well, and it doesn't even matter whose work. It could have been Gruden. It could have been the other person.
Yeah. This was when he was with CBS, and this is with the
So there you go. CBS, which is a news agency,
and the vice president of the Washington Redskins, Bruce Allen or somebody.
Why, if you had this information for 7-8 years, why did you wait so long?
Well, and see,
I think it was leaked. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
that was leaked.
That's where it's definitely an intentional leak with the sole purpose of discrediting or ruining the reputation of John Gruden. So there's definitely
me it's personal.
Well, yeah, it's malicious.
It has to be. How else?
But unfortunately, why does it work? That's the question I would like to ask. I mean, we all have our faults, right?
I only got two.
We don't need to air it out here, John. But we all have our faults. We all have things that we probably shouldn't be involved in and do. And unfortunately, that's human nature. That's our human nature. And there's certain things that, because of how we were raised or because of, lack of a vocabulary, we use crude language. That's part of life too. I mean, we all served in the armed forces. Marine, we have two Army guys here.
Yeah,
you can vouch that there's
every other word was a crude word.
It's almost like a continual Eddie Murphy movie.
Right.
If you couldn't take it, bye.
Right. Go sit down somewhere.
But the funny thing is that we're living in such a sheltered time right now, to where when people hear something that they don't like, they take such offense to it that they feel like they need to cancel you instead of just doing what we used to do back in the day and ignore them. When someone said something that I didn't like, didn't agree with, or found offensive, I didn't hang out with them.
I had two choices.
I didn't associate with
I had
them.
two choices. Either I didn't talk to you or I knocked the crap out of you. And that was it.
It doesn't even have to go to that point. People are not made of strong skin anymore.
Yeah,
like they're literally words. I'm not sitting there saying words don't hurt, but if you don't know this person is not a significant person in your life, how does anything they say affect you to that degree?
What's that thing they say? You can say whatever you want, as long as you don't touch me. We're fine.
Yeah,
I'm be honest with you. We're fine.
We're fine.
So if somebody called me outside my name, I don't have a problem with that. I can deal with you my way. But if you put your hands on me, that's a different story because you're invading my personal space.
Just don't say nothing about his mama.
Nobody likes the mamas, but hey,
don't mess with
all I'm saying is it's like
your mama's a sweetheart, man. I need to see her again.
Like Chuck said, Chuck did say this. He just said it. People are made of thin skin. This watered down society we got that I'm gonna put it out there. This is my words. This watered down society that everybody's supposed to be able to you can't hurt nobody's feelings.
Culture.
You can't say anything to anybody that's gonna make them feel bad. I'm sorry, but if you're on my football team
or politically correct.
If you're on my football team and you suck, I'm gonna let you know.
Yeah.
If I'm the best player and you the worst player, I'm not gonna sit here and degrade you to make you the worst player. I'm gonna tell you that, hey, this is what you're doing wrong.
And John, I'd like to pipe in. And just because we're a bunch of couch sitting, quarterbacking, GMing from the couch, from the TV and maybe this local sports bar, if we say you suck, it's not that we can't do it. We understand we can't do it. But we're comparing you to the talent that's in the league.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing. So you may be the greatest from your college. You may be the greatest from your state, whatever. But if you can't hack it in the league, that's what we're referencing.
And it's the same thing in life. Let me back that. I'm gonna back that one up. It's the same thing in the world in which we live in, and when people say something negative about you and you take it the wrong way. Sometimes it's a such thing as called negative criticism. You might hear something where you're not pulling your weight this way, and somebody said to you, and you take it wrong, and then so that person is bullying you. They were trying to help you out.
I guess I missed the time when people took criticism and they tried harder.
And I missed that. That's
like,
basically what we say.
If you give me, and that's why I prefer constructive criticism. It's like I don't like to use the words "you suck" or "he's trash" because it doesn't identify something to improve upon. So personally, I don't use those words. But I will say that he needs to work on his hand control or his route running or blocking needs to improve. I mean, those are the type of things that I like to utilize when we have these discussions.
It's like talking to one of your coworkers and you're watching them mess up and you go to them and say, "Hey, bro, this is what you're doing wrong," and they get mad because you're telling them they're doing something wrong instead of realizing that, "Hey, I'm messing up. This guy's trying to help me." Well, I use the word negative criticism. I meant constructive criticism, like Josh just said. I apologize for that. But when you can't take criticism, period, whether it's constructive or just you're doing something wrong and somebody bring it up. What are you doing?
And that's the sad part because doing something wrong isn't negative. I mean, it's negative, but it's not a negative. It just means, hey, look, we need to do it a different way. We need to do it a better way. So, and that's what I guess that's the problem I have. I mean, because take a look back when we were in boot camp, right?
Yeah.
How many times did you have to redo your rack?
Right, but see, okay.
I mean, until we got
I'm not gonna
right,
lie, I didn't even know I did not know how to make a bed properly.
But the thing with that, I'll take that example. Thank you for bringing that up. The reason why I will use the word trash and sorry, because you have to understand when they said it to us, man, this rack is trash, and I'll flip it over. It just makes you want to do it better.
Yeah,
yes, they use trash, but they didn't use it in a derogatory sense.
Exactly.
They did. I mean, yeah, I'm not gonna say they didn't. They did. But it was to build you up. Is to sit there and say, "Hey, I'm insulting you. What are you going to do about it?"
Yeah.
And it gives you that drive. It gives you that drive to get up and do it better. So when you come back, I want to sit there and say, "Yeah, call it trash now."
And I hate to.
That's that pride
do
you're
this,
supposed
but
to
I'm
have.
going to bring Rocky into this. Rocky is one of my best all-time favorite movies. Yep. And you can say what you want about the individual movies. Because most of them, I'll probably agree. But one of the best lines,
Rocky.
One of the best lines is, "It's not how hard you can get hit. It's how hard you can get hit and get up again."
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And that's the key. And I think that's what we're missing. We're missing that discipline to I fell down. I need to get up.
Yeah. And I'm going to go back to something Chuck said. This happened. This was a military moment for probably all three of us, but it was me specifically. I was the worst person making the bed. And when I got out of basic training and I realized I know how to make a bunk right. Mm-hmm. They put me in charge of my platoon, and so we come back from AIT school. Everybody made their beds up that morning. We come back from class, the whole room is trash.
Yep.
And so I had to go to the drill sergeant and ask him why. He said one bunk wasn't right. I said, which one? He said, you have to figure that out.
Exactly.
You have to figure that out. So what it taught me was every morning before we leave, make sure everybody's bunk is right.
Right.
Because for 3 weeks, we were coming back, our room was trash.
And unfortunately,
and we had to redo all of that.
As unfair as that may seem to some people,
that's life.
The number one thing that it achieves is that we get a mobile unit out of boot camp, not a bunch of individuals.
Yep.
We get a teamwork of teams in that unit, and it doesn't matter if you're Army, Air Force, Navy, or Marine. I guarantee you, any one person that meets a fellow boot camp recruit, they'll never forget it.
They got the same stories.
We got the same stories.
It's an instant brotherhood that cannot be beat.
And the thing about it is, guess what happened? After I said 3 weeks, but after about a week and a half, it got right. Well, we came back, our room was straight.
Right.
And one time he actually told me the reason he flipped everything over, the beds were right. People had their shoes wrong.
Oh yeah.
Remember you had to have them a certain way.
Alignment, covered in line.
It was just the little details that you miss in life. But at the same time, what they taught us was, hey, we gave you something to do. You didn't do it right. Here's how we're gonna get you to do it right.
And also it does promote peer pressure to a point to where we're looking out, not to the point where we're pressuring each other, but we look out for each other.
Unit cohesion.
Yeah,
and that translates to the NFL or in the high school football team or college football team. When you have unit cohesion, those are the teams that's dominating.
Yeah,
those are the teams that are winning.
It's all for one and one for all. You're a unit. We think like one hive mind. I know we need to achieve this, so this is my part in this. You got your part. You got your part. You got your part, and it all comes.
And when we all do it, we all do our part well. We win.
Yeah,
and that's what we're talking about.
Another good one, I think, and you guys will get a kick out of this. So I went to boot camp and I didn't know anything. I didn't know how to make my bed, not military style. I didn't know how to do any of that. So the irony is that my bunkmate, I was on the top bunk, he was on the bottom bunk. His brother just graduated 2 years prior and showed him how to make the hospital corners, showed him how to make the folds, showed him how to make the bunk. So he was done in I'm not even kidding, in 30 seconds to a minute. He had his bed made in hospital corners, and he's helping me. For the entire first phase of boot camp, he was helping me. But honestly, I think it was to a detriment because things are so fast paced as you progress, and he was so good at it so early that by the time we were in third phase and we needed to have that speed, he didn't have it. So I was helping him.
And that's the same story I had. It wasn't so much the bed; it was more of the I couldn't do push-up for crap, But the guys that I had to work out with, they were doing 202 minutes. I know, how the hell you do 202 minutes? I could barely get through 33. And then all of a sudden, but I could run fast. And so I taught them how to breathe and run. They taught me how to do push-ups and sit-ups. And by the end of boot camp, I was up in the top 10 doing push-ups and sit-ups, and that was not my thing.
Yeah, I had the problem with the run. Oh man, I had the remedial run.
I'm sorry we got off topic. But this is what we're really talking about. Is sometimes when you criticizing somebody, you're actually trying to help them get better. Now, what you say and the words you use, that's one thing. But at the end of the day, you don't use that to destroy somebody.
And of course, I guess we are going off on a
John Gruden.
The words that he used were definitely not for constructive purposes.
It wasn't.
But our point is that. Don't cancel someone just because you don't agree with the words they're using.
Because at the end of the day, an organization lost their head coach who was a key.
They were front runner. They still a front runner. But
they lost their head coach
in the
who was their key factor in all of them being together. They were going in a direction that was positive. All over something that happened prior to his employment. If that was the case, then that means for any one of us, whether we are an NFL coach down to a janitor, anything we said prior to our job, we should be scrutinized, right? We should be held accountable,
and
right?
You gotta resign.
If we're going down this route, like Shannon Sharp said on this Undisputed with the Kareem Hunt case, if you're gonna set that standard for him, you got to set that standard across the board.
Yeah.
Doctors, lawyers, janitors, all across the board. Doesn't matter your profession.
And I hate to admit it, and we're all fans here, but the NFL has definitely not been consistent in that regard.
Exactly.
That's true.
The elite players are treated differently than the regular players, and it's really kind of sad because they don't even consider some of the great linemen elite players. I mean, yeah, every once in a while you see a left tackle get recognition, but I mean, you really don't hear too much about centers unless they can do the long snap. You really don't hear too much about the
guy
guards.
from the Oilers. The center for the Oilers, Munchak or something like that.
The only centers I know is Jeff Saturday, which was Peyton Manning's, and Andrews.
Well, there was a center for the Oilers. He got a lot of recognition for his efforts.
He did, but it's so rare.
It is.
And the sad thing is that they do treat the offensive line, like just another body to fill the spot. Yep. And
but the only position they don't treat like that is the tackle in the center. Left tackle in the center.
But to be fair, the linemen get paid higher than a basic defensive lineman, though. So.
Really?
Yeah,
they get paid better.
They get paid higher than a nose tackle, maybe. But not a defensive.
Linemen get paid. Yes, they do.
Not a defensive end.
Offensive linemen get paid way better.
We might need to listen to him because he does play enough Madden to know.
Offensive linemen get paid way better.
Hey, no, that's your offensive line.
You're not. You gotta look at it. You gotta look at the numbers. I promise you, offensive linemen get paid better.
Let's go ahead. I mean, I think we kind of went on a rant, but we hope you enjoyed it because we do feel passionate about this. It's kind of BS that people are losing their jobs and their livelihood because of something that they did almost a decade ago.
And you got to learn to forgive people. I mean, that's
But my
first
whole
and
thing
foremost.
is like you didn't even give him a chance to even apologize, repent, or whatever you want to call it.
No,
he could have
they-
said to say, "Hey, that
Once
was
again,
me 10 years ago."
Character assassination.